Hello, Ray Hernandez.
Hello, Stephen Ray.
Oh, I guess I was supposed to say Ray Daniel Hernandez.
Oh, no.
No.
Does that only my family calls me that? That's literally. So
is that when you're in trouble?
No, not like that. So I have an uncle Ray, who you know, and
I know. I have him as Uncle Ray.
Yeah. So my uncle Ray, like most Mexican families, we all grew up in the same house with like siblings and cousins and all in my grandma's house, right? So
yeah, sounds awesome.
It got to a point where my grandma would scream Ray, and we would both come, and she was like, "No, you're Ray, you're Ray Daniel," and it was like she deemed it, and then my entire family, my uncles, my aunts, every cousin, even the ones that aren't in the house, like that literally is my name in my family. I'm not Ray, I am Ray Daniel. So everyone in my entire family knows me as Ray Daniel. So
nice.
It's weird if anybody else ever says it. It's not that I'm in trouble. It feels like, dude, you're not my family. Why are you calling me that? You know? Not you, but you know.
Well, you know the getting in trouble thing where the parent says like the full name, Stephen Troy Ray. You're like, oh God.
I feel like that was not my house. Mine is when it's not your name. Like when it's like, motherfucker, get over. You know, like that's when you know you're in trouble.
All right. Yeah. My mother, she is a little different. She just said my full name. So, how are you today?
Leave it to Beaver. I'm fantastic.
Leave it to Beaver.
I'm good. I'm not as cracked out, like hype as I was when I went to the gym today. I did take a little pre-workout, so I'm feeling like that's the magic sauce.
Starting to figure out your dosage.
Yeah, it's like, you know. But you don't look like you. You seem tired. Not like I wasn't gonna say, man, you look like shit. But I was trying to tee it up in a nice way, and it just didn't feel right. So I was like, man, what's going on? Like, why are you?
It's interesting that it's noticeable. I'm a little tired. So, I wanted to make sure I got some good sleep. So I took some edibles, and I think I took too much because I woke up pretty groggy. I definitely slept. I slept well. I had good dreams and all that. But I think I had a pretty full night's sleep, and I woke up just trying to peel my eyes open. So, what
time did you go to bed?
You know,
like, do you know? Like,
it was probably like 11 or something.
So, just because my wife has real trouble sleeping and medicates herself, and so what she's found, I feel like, is she has to take it very early, like at dinner, like 7, 8 o'clock. Right.
Oh, I see.
And if you take it late, then it's exactly like what you're feeling. Like you wake up and you're still like, I should be sleeping still. You know, you're still like in that. So yeah, I think you probably just took it too late. It wasn't the dosage.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
well,
like I'm not a fucking doctor. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. But
no, this is medical advice.
No, but honestly, it's a good thing that someone would notice if you're tired, because I feel like. And maybe that's fucking hard for you, but like I feel like you have a persona of the guy who smiles and is happy and is in a good mood. And I don't feel like I know, but I don't ever feel like I see you feel or look tired, you know. But like so right now, it's like it was noticeable because it's never you, you know. You're the guy who gets up at 4 or 5 in the morning, goes to CrossFit and shit, you know, and is always like, yeah, I already worked out 3 times today. Let's go do something.
Yeah, I hadn't been doing that lately.
No.
But, well, cool, man. Well, hey, what do you want to get into today?
Oh,
hey, you know what?
No.
I'm going to do it before we start.
Okay.
Fam, listening, join, or, man, I was going to not fuck this up today.
I could tell you were like, I'm so confident right now. I'm going to knock this shit out.
Okay.
All right.
We
reset.
Belabor that. Okay.
Rewind.
Hey, fam. Everybody listening, thanks for joining us. As usual, we really appreciate you joining us. I've said join us too many times. That's fine. I'm carrying on.
No. Join us.
So,
join us.
Subscribe.
Join us.
Like and subscribe. Leave comments, please. Man, now I'm begging. This sucks. Anyway, give us ratings and shit, whatever they are, even if they're bad ratings. Engage. We love you. Okay. Let's get the show started. What were we going to talk about?
Man. I don't even know now. All I keep thinking in my head is like a T-shirt that just says "join." Now, like
join.
I'm gonna make you a T-shirt. Speaking of T-shirts, I was talking to my team that my designer, she really liked that Aloha hoodie that I was wearing in the last episode, and it got me thinking. I feel like that should be my thing. Like, it was already ugly hoodies, but like, so I don't think you know this. So I know you know I lived in Hawaii, but there's a thing about Hawaii that I always made this rule. You know, I have this like no suit rule, dress code rule. Well, I always had this rule of like, I'm never going to wear an Aloha shirt, like, cause it felt so like touristy. Right. And then you go, and I live there, and everyone literally wears one that's local, like every day. But it's because that's the work shirt. And so now it's like you're wearing the McDonald's uniform if you live there and you wear an Aloha shirt, right? And so, but it's like now it's like I miss Hawaii.
Oh, you mean it's work shirt because it's like people wear that
that's
because
the
tourists
uniform.
Like to see it?
No, it's because it's like the uniform. If you work at a hotel, you work at this restaurant, you wear whatever. Everyone.
Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of like to give that vibe
it creates the
for
theme.
all the tourists.
Yeah,
right?
it's like I'm at the Outback.
That's interesting.
And it's like, good day, mate. What steak would you want?
Wearing like the safari shirt. Yeah.
But that I really like that hoodie, and so then I started looking. I was like, man, I wonder if there's just like a whole collection of Aloha shirt hoodies, because since the way that you're a domain whore, I am a build a random startup whore. And like I actually built a little thing that I never finished called Aloha Socks, because I wanted to make Aloha shirt print socks, and because I couldn't find a bunch of them. I found like one or two, but they'd be like $50 for a pair of socks. I was like, that's stupid. So I was like, I'll just make like a printful type thing, and like just find a bunch of cool patterns. But now I'm thinking that I should change that and make an Aloha hoodies company, where it's just like I find like the coolest Aloha prints, even like some retro ones, and I'll do like the Magnum PI, red, Aloha print. And like, but all hoodies.
I don't think it's a bad idea at all. And I think like doing the patterns on things is pretty cool. Like, I don't know, you see all these like high-end brands that at one day, at one time it would have been, had nothing on it. It's just, it's like the $100 hoodie. But now you'll see they like do like the, the repeating pattern kind of stuff. Even like that Aloha hoodie you had, that was like a brand. That
was Polo. Right? It was like Ralph Lauren, whatever. But to your point, it was funny. We went to the mall the other day, and I haven't been to the mall in forever. But we took the kids ice skating, which I also suck at really badly.
Wow,
like, I was in pain. I don't know how people do that. I can roller. I can roller skate.
Pushing around.
No, it's because of the blade is literally like on the middle of your foot.
Oh, and so
like each foot, and like obviously I got them weak ankles or something, because like I just felt like I just wanted to fall. Anyway, what was the point of that? Oh, we went into the store. You remember those? Like, there's always the stores in the mall that you're like, man, who shops there? That like always had like the most like ghetto shirts, or like it's like streetwear, and then it was like bad streetwear, right? Where it wasn't it's the
like
cool
a Hot Topic or something.
No, like
right?
beyond that, where it was like Frank's Wears or like something like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like a dude who just had like the craziest like gold pants with glitter and like all these random things.
Oh yeah,
right?
Super douchey stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Like totally crazy.
Like, well, I'm over 40 now, but I was gonna say like 40-year-old dudes.
Well, not even like the Ed Hardy, not even the Ed Hardy stuff. I'm thinking more like hip hoppy, but like ghetto. Like it wasn't even like cool looking anymore. Like now, like there's tons of cool streetwear. Like that's like a style, but it's almost like now the trend is that like all those stores must be killing it now, because like the trend of like all the stuff that you see, like the cool hip streetwear look is like everybody's doing the regular Nike Champion hoodie. I'm gonna go get Frank's Wears with like all these fucking diamond things like all over it. And
dude, it's what we talked about. It's standing out.
It's totally standing out. That's what I'm saying. I was like, but those guys have been in the mall for those 40 years waiting for this time right now. And they're like,
it's so interesting. There's always this like sort of I don't know if it's like a human nature just thing or whatever. Not everybody's like this, but you especially see it in what's the right way to put it? you see it in communities a lot more that are, what's the right way? I'm trying to be totally PC. Oh, and my Siri's going off now. Basically, like less than fortunate communities or whatever. Man, that's not the right way to put it. You know what I'm saying? There's like a term for it.
Bro.
But basically, yeah.
Ghetto.
And so
It's all right. Just say
yeah,
it.
a little bit. No. I'm trying. It's
Just skip that part and describe what you're going to talk about. You're in a less fortunate, people don't have as much money area, and what?
Yeah, but it seems like that's more commonly in that situation. There's this desire to like have like flair or whatever. I remember watching this video or this. It was like I think it was like a news broadcast that was interesting, so it made it to YouTube and kind of became viral. But it was where these dudes would put these exhaust tips on that would make their cars whistle. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? Yeah. And it had that dude that was like, yeah, it makes the car go whoop whoop. And then all these cars were driving around and they're just going whoop. But I mean, it's like, that's like, I want attention. I want to stand out. And it's like the same way with a lot of the more the clothing trends that as you get older, you're like, what the fuck is that? But I mean, I remember we went through the same thing where we were sagging and wearing giant pants and all that stuff.
It happens to us all the time where it's like, man, do we not understand the fashion or are we just old? Like, it's just like the cycle that you kind of go through. And like, I feel like we're in that because it's like, even the trend right now for like my wife will bring it up all the time. It's like, it's a mix. It's 90s, 80s, and 70s, and they just mashed and had a baby, right? And it's like, it feels like the things are off. Or like, there was that whole trend for a minute there where like Target was selling like Little House on the Prairie like dresses where everyone looked like weird. They were like, like had dresses that were like up to their neck and like huge shoulders.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that shit's cool to me.
We were just like, I don't know, it's crazy. But no,
Well, there's also like the trend that, I don't think this happens quite as much, but like, I'm classifying a bunch of people right now today is all I'm going to do. But there's like the emo sort of, emo kids or whatever. It's like hipsters or whatever, I guess. And everything would clash. He'd be like, man, like, it really just doesn't look good. But like it was like their own thing to where, I mean, it literally like, it was like, in my mind, it was a fact that did not look good. But it achieved the sort of goal, I guess, they were going for, which was, I want to look different or crazy or whatever.
I think it's interesting, though, because we talked about this when we talked about, like, lowriders and stuff. It's like, when you're a kid...
That's another good point.
When you're a kid, it's like, you just see something and you think it's cool. But that doesn't mean that it will look cool on you. And I think that's the hard part as a kid.
That happens as an adult, too.
Well, I know, but as a kid, you just automatically assume that's going to look on me. And I feel like for me as an adult, I see it and I go, that's not going to look good on me. So it's like, it flips. And so it's like, but it's like whatever you thought was cool as a kid. Because I was such like a hip-hop lowrider like kid. And then I would try to wear like stuff I'd see like on a music video. And it was bad. Like it was not good. Like I'm gonna find a picture and I'm gonna send it to you. I had like a party in like 7th or 8th grade at like the apartment, clubhouse, and like I had saved up all this money to buy like a cool outfit, and I bought this like Carl Kanai like vest, right? And it was like yellow. Which was perfect. I'm wearing yellow now. And I was like, but I need pants to go with it. And so my mom gave me like $30 more. She's like, go back and get some pants. Well, they didn't have like pants that matched it. So I went to another store to find pants, but I didn't have the vest with me. So I just bought some yellow pants thinking this is going to be good. So I've got like bright ass yellow vest with like mustard color yellow this. And it was like when like Georgetown was all cool, the Bulldogs, the basketball team. So I had this like maroon hat, and like, I don't even know what my shoes are, but it just like, there's a picture. I just look ridiculous.
Dude, but gotta send me that.
I'm going to find it. Yeah, I will.
Well, sweet. Why don't we get into
anyway,
some shit?
I don't even know how we got to that, but I like it.
Yeah.
Lowriders and Carl Kanai. That's how you do it.
Well, dude, you and I were having a bit of a conversation, and you talked about that real resume idea that you had. And I thought it'd be interesting if we kind of, well, first it'd probably be good if you talked about the idea around, you know, the real resume that you had. And I thought it'd be interesting maybe to talk about some of the interesting things that have helped shaped our careers that are not typical, you know, not traditional resume type things. Totally. you would put.
Which that is the point of like my whole real resume idea. It's like if you're like, what crazy job, what crazy mentor, what, you know, trip you took, or what random thing actually, and all those pieces together actually make up how you do and why you do the thing that you do now. Right? So it's like I'm trying to think of like one good example. It's like I used to work at Match.com. It was like one of my first like designer jobs, and that's when I met you. I remember like we'd get these reports of what the affiliates were making, and then I'd hear stories about like, oh yeah, this lady, she lives in Indonesia in some crazy mansion, and she makes like 200 million or like a 2 million a year, and she's just an affiliate. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, well, you know all those banners and stuff that we've been making? Well, we give all of them to her. She posts them around everywhere. When people click on it, we pay her. And I was like, well, why not fucking pay me that then? Like, what the hell? Like, I'm literally making the content. And so, like, that stuck in my head. And so, after I left Match, I literally would get crazy. This was during the MySpace days, right? Have I told you this? How I hacked MySpace?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, you have. You did.
So,
but, yeah, that's good.
So that's what led to that. I got into affiliate marketing. And I was like, okay, I'm going to like learn this, but I need the whole point, the way you make, like she was making all this money is she had like blogs and all this stuff that like had all this traffic. And I was like, okay, what has lots of traffic that I can be part of? And so at the time, MySpace was like the biggest site in the world. Everybody was on it.
Right.
And you could customize your profile, right? Make it whatever color.
It's literally how like everybody learned how to do CSS.
Exactly. But the one thing that you couldn't do was JavaScript, which is what an affiliate gives you. They give you a JavaScript that you put on your website and everything. And when they click it, that's how they're tracking that you got the clicks. Okay? Well, but what they did allow back then, which doesn't even really exist anymore, it was Flash. And so what I figured out is I could embed JavaScript inside of Flash, and then I could put Flash on side of profiles. And so it was literally me, Bea, and Chris, like in New York. We're literally in New York City, like in a little room, creating profiles of like a cute-looking guy, cute-looking girl, writing like these profiles and like making them real people. And so here's the other thing. In the adult industry, if you sign up as an affiliate, they give you all of, you know, pictures and stuff to make banners and stuff, but they give you like the clothes. They're just on a date all the way to, you know, like the dirty stuff. So we were literally taking like the clothes ones and like, you know, like, cause it's like, that's what everyone was like trying to be all sexy on MySpace. So you take like the sexy clothed ones, and that's how we created all these profiles. We would get the content from this one, and then we'd create a profile on MySpace. We would put this JavaScript inside of Flash and then put that into their profile. And then Friend Finder, which was like a competitor to Match.com, was doing this affiliate campaign where they gave you $1 per click. They didn't even have to sign up. They just gave you $1 per click. And so that JavaScript that I wrote did a pop under. And so every time somebody went to this one of these fake profiles that I would make, it would do a pop under, and I would make $1. And it was nothing but like good-looking guys and good-looking girls all over the United States. I didn't even get international. I just did the United States. We had hundreds, maybe thousands. I don't know. So it was literally what we spent our whole day. And like, dude, we made like thousands of dollars a month. And at the time, I wasn't even paying rent. I had no bills. I had nothing. Like I literally just, I think we drank the money away. But like but it literally was like, this isn't that hard. Like, okay, they need something. I have some pieces and content and stuff that I can create, and there's a source of traffic. Okay, put those two things together, give me money. It was like I figured out the formula by kind of just like hacking these little pieces together, and like I feel like that has stayed with me forever. Like that's what I mean by like the real resume. It's like, oh, well, I used to make banners for a dating app, and then I found out about affiliate marketing, and then I saw porn companies have content like with photos that have girls that are clothed, and then I, figured out Flash and some JavaScript. Boom, give me a bunch of money. Like it was like that's how I build products now. It's like it stayed with you forever, but it's like I feel like it made me, and it's like we've talked about it before, where it's like I feel like give me a weekend, I can build a thing that's going to make some money. Versus like, let's plan out this whole thing and let's like do this big company and hire all these people. It's like, it created
actually,
that
you're
vibe.
kind of thinking about it like it's like the growth hack version. It's like, let's do this experiment, see if it works.
And then like that could lead, if I wanted to keep doing that, into how do I create a list that's my list, or how do I create another site that gets a bunch of traffic that I do this for? Or if like, well, on this podcast, if we get a bunch of people, like how do we link in affiliate links to get them to buy, the shirt you have on Amazon or something, you know what I mean? And like we get paid from it. It's like, it's with me like at all times now, even still. And that was like 20, 30 years ago. I don't even know how long ago that was.
I don't think it was 30, but probably 20.
I'm listening to that. Like, do you listen to Business Wars?
No.
You should listen to Business,
good.
dude. They're actually doing an episode on MySpace right now, and it's really good. It's like 4-part series. They do it. It's always like Ford versus GM or Fender versus Les Paul.
Cool.
Like, and it's all these like this historical stories, which is kind of interesting because it's like they even say it. They're like, we weren't in the room, so we don't know that these conversations happen. But we've done our research, so it's like it's kind of made up, but kind of based on facts, and so, but it's done, it's like great storytelling. But anyway, it's like I learned a lot from it, just kind of, and it made me think about the MySpace thing, just because it was like a reminiscent thing. But anyway, what about you? What's your crazy gig? Crazy gig?
Before I don't know, I don't know if this is super cool, but before getting to that, I heard this really cool growth hack strategy, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it was on this podcast you and I both like and listen to called My First Million. And they were talking about, mobile, acquiring new users of this mobile app. And this individual wanted to market it towards like a younger demographic, because it's like one of those types of apps where you fill it out and it's like, I think I may be combining a couple of different pieces of this story, but it's something like, pardon me, where you would fill something out that's like, who's most likely to, end up as a politician, who's most likely to end up in jail, and they would put the people's names in it. And
God, I hope you're the one that was supposed to end up in jail.
Well, part of it was just that it would text them and say, so-and-so had this to say about you. See what you think. It's kind of basic. But the thing I thought was cool, and this I think actually might have been a different app just by the same guy doing different strategies. He basically would take all the signups and he would not so you go to the site because it started somewhere. So you go and you're like, I want to sign up. And it's like the wait list is full. We'll let you know when when we're able to add you to the app or let you in. And basically, he would do that just on a daily or bi-daily basis or something, and he would basically open up the app, or I'm saying open up, but basically like accept all those requests at the same time, and he would do it like right after school. So like whatever time high school kids get out, I guess like 4 or 5 or something like that. And so that way. They all okay. I was thinking about extracurricular stuff. I don't know, but that way they would all get pinged at the same time, so they would all go there, and it kind of like
your Roomba is crazy.
I know, Jesus.
It was like someone's taking off.
I was hoping.
No, the only reason I said it is like because it's like you were telling a good story, and I didn't want that to ruin it. So sorry, keep going with your story.
Well, I just thought it was pretty interesting, like little strategies like that. So there's 2 like pieces of excitement that I think you try to build in people. One is like, I'm on the wait list, and it's like a little bit of FOMO at that point because you're like so-and-so's on it. Shit, I can't get on it. I wonder how long I'll have to wait. I remember doing that a lot, even with like Gmail and shit. So there's a little bit of excitement built because you can't get in right away. So it's not accessible. But then the other piece of that is like doing them all at the same time, releasing them all at the same time. Then you get that immediate usage or not immediate usage, but you get those notifications that's like, anybody who was on a wait list and gets in, they're going to go, open up the app and create their account. Now, when I jump in, it's going to say Ray's on here or whatever. It's going to start just kind of populating at the same time versus like this long sort of drawn out. It's like they're sort of like creating this like fake excitement. Then obviously gets people like using it. I don't know. Seems pretty basic, but I just thought it was pretty cool.
No, I think that's a piece that people miss like a lot, where it's like they think like, oh, this would be cool for marketing. They don't think down to the detail of that about like, who's your demographic? Oh, your demographic's high school kids. Well, they're in school all morning, so why'd you launch this at like 10 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like, right. I think that's actually really important to like think through who you're marketing to and like figure out the timing, not just the content, not just the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Like that's huge. But I don't know, now you make me want to like do something else. Have I ever told you about Passion Up?
I know about Passion Up, I think. I mean, you've told me about it, but do tell.
Well, the details of it though are the thing that made me. So actually, that's actually the precursor to my affiliate marketing in New York story. Because I saw someone doing it, I worked for him, and he was literally making tens, if not more, millions of dollars a year with a three-person company. And so Passion Up, which I bet you it's still alive, is literally the ugliest site you've ever seen in your fucking life. Oh, they redesigned it, and it's still ugly. But it was so bad. We got to go to the Wayback Machine and look at it. It was like an e-card site where literally you go to it and everything was just glitter. Just glittering gifts of roses and people on the beach. And like, it's sort of like your Hallmark, like on crack, right? And it was like, send this to a friend, tell them you love them, send them a prayer request, send them like, I love you, right? And this was like, they made this in like the 90s. And out of nowhere, it just took off. And he ended up with millions of email addresses, right? From like the person, because it's like everyone sent us two, like the person who's sending it and the friend that's sending it too, right? So it's like it doubles. And basically, he didn't know what to do with it. He was like, the site's failing. It doesn't make any money. No one's doing the premium ones that cost money. So we're going to shut this whole thing down. And apparently, like a friend of his is like, you're an idiot. Those emails are worth a lot of money. And this is the 90s, okay? Yeah. So those emails were worth like $1 to $5 a piece, potentially, at that point, right?
Right.
And he's got millions of them. So what he started doing is signing up for every affiliate marketing company on the planet. And he would send, a.k.a. spam, like millions of people 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And it worked. Like,
yeah, it's also before you had like where email providers basically send you to spam.
Totally. Like this was pre-Gmail. This is like like spam filter-y, like got good. And I think this was like even part of like the Can Spam Act or whatever that says you can as long as you got your email. So it basically became part of the terms of service of Passion Up that they can send them marketing things or whatever. And so it was all like he's really smart. Like he thought it all through. But I was just seeing the numbers and how much money they were making from this garbage website that they just got a bunch of emails from. And I was like, this guy, I mean, is not the smartest person on the planet. And he did something that was so ugly. And like being a designer, it was really hard to look at this website, right? And it was so ugly. Yeah. I'm going to find it. I'm going to link to like the original one. And turn that into literally just being able, I'm making like a spreadsheet, hitting a button to hit send every day. And then he actually hired my friend Amber to push the button 3 times a day. And like he's just like making millions. I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing?
So
wrong?
What do you do for a living? Well, I push this button.
It's the Jetsons
3 times a day.
The Jetsons, like he just presses the button. No, but dude, I was just That's the kind of stuff, like, to me, that's like my MTV cribs. Like, where everyone's like, oh, I see that house and I want that. And oh, I want to be like them and I want to be this celebrity. I see these people that start the dumbest company in the world and they're making millions of dollars. And I was like, I just want to be you. You are my idol.
That kind of leads in. So I love those types of things too. And I know it's kind of becoming a trend to talk about boring businesses. But I think, you know, we've talked about this a bit before too. Like the app or the products that are well designed, like I will go, like you mentioned, like a box of nails. And like, that's the thing where if there's two brands of box of nails beside each other, even if there's a few cents in difference, like I'm not going to go pay a lot more just for nails, just because of the design, but like I will gravitate and pick the one that looks, you know, it's got a better design. And that's the same way with like generic foods. Like generic food packaging used to always look fucking generic when the real brand, like the Kellogg's or whatever, was like super well designed.
Yeah, but we both came up without any money. And so for me, that generic looking one just made me feel as poor as I was. And like the fancy designed one made me feel like, I got that Grey Poupon, you know, like not just that mustard. But I think even if you,
no, yeah, I get that. But I think even if you grow up, you know, with money or whatever, I still think, I mean, you would still look at it the same way. We just looked at it a little different because we like,
I mean, now too, the aesthetics play a huge part of it, right? Like we were talking earlier about like the Method soap, right? Like, and they like spent all this time on like their bottle, and like it was obviously it's like more like organic and all that kind of stuff too. But really, it's a cooler bottle.
Yeah, it's the bottle,
you know, and it looks different than everything else on the rack, and it stands out. And like that's their whole thing. That's their stick. Like, and that company. The guy who started that, like, again, he's like one of my idols. I gotta like remember his name, but like he did that with soap, right? And then they went into like, what other generic thing could we take over at the grocery store? And then they did like Band-Aids, and it was called like Wellies or something like that. And they just changed the Band-Aid box and made them like cool and cute and different colors and like, but it came in this cool tin, right? But like, that's literally all they're doing. They're taking like we were talking about, like you brought it up without the context, but like we were talking about like what could you do at Home Depot that you just literally took the box and changed it. And we brought up like, what if you just changed the box of nails, and this one was like neon orange and like cool graphics and stuff all over it, and it was like Aloha prints and whatever, and then you had like your generic looking ones, and this one cost $4 more than this one. I bet people would buy that one.
Yeah.
Maybe not the construction workers that are trying to like cut down on costs, but like the DIYers that go in there every day into Lowe's and whatever are like, I'm getting that one because that box looks cool, you know?
Totally.
So we need to.
Well, that's like the spare key that you can buy. You can get the ones now that are like painted or whatever, and they're always like $4 or $5, and the regular shitty gold one is like $1. But you see people in there all the time getting. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It helps you kind of differentiate it, I guess. But I don't know. It's really funny. They just put a little bit of effort into giving you an option, and people will pay that much more. The profit on those, the margin must be so high, because just on a key, I mean, it's got to be pretty decent margin. You throw a little paint on it, doesn't add that much more value.
I mean, we talked about that a little bit when we were talking about Steven starting this podcast and like company and everything, about like, what business or product could we just buy from somebody who's not doing anything with it for cheap and just redesign it and then charge double, right? Like you got someone doing nothing with like a WordPress plugin, and it's been sitting there for 2 years, but it's got like 100,000 users. You know, it's like, what could we do with that and just like change it up? Or like,
oh yeah, that's a major strategy.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're talking about.
No, that's cool.
Like it's like we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to repackage the wheel. Right. And so it's, I don't know. There's so much. I want to do this now. I just don't know what product.
That's going to have to be one of our public experiments.
Yeah. But it's got to be something that you could buy. So like now, I mean, that's the way my brain is. Like now I'm like, okay, if we did nails, but we don't have the relationship with Lowe's or Home Depot, so we're not going to get it, and people don't buy nails on a random website, what's something that they do buy on a random website that is still generic that we just changed the box?
Well, that's what you got to think about. Like, what are things that people buy a lot, like regularly? Like nails is actually a pretty good one, but like toilet paper or, you know,
but you got to think beyond that
bad.
though. It's not just the product; it's what do they buy online? Because we'd have to make a e-commerce site for them because it's like we're not going to be in the store. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like it's like for us to do an experiment to actually like my brain is like I'm doing this weekend. Like we'd have to make a quick e-commerce store. Like say what could we put on Shopify? Call it pinktoiletpaper.com, and like would people buy that actually from there? You know?
Do they have colored toilet paper?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know
Just
that people would be that excited about
colored
toilet paper. Yeah. You'll never know. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. I think that's I think there's probably some good business ideas where literally you look at a product that exists that's doing okay, acquire that thing and redesign it, repackage it.
Okay, I just found the toilet paper one and I fucking love it. It's called Who Gives a Crap, and it's a box subscription service that's bamboo toilet paper, and it's like packaged really awesome. WhoGivesACrap.org.
Oh yeah,
this is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Now I got to look at their traffic. I want to know.
It's still white toilet paper. It's basically just like they come wrapped up in like nice, like
it's like tissue paper
packaging.
Yeah, it's like they put wrapping paper around it, and it comes in a box with their brand on it, and that's really it. But it's $60 for like a few rolls. That's what I'm saying.
Oh Jesus!
All right, now's the time for guessing. I want you to guess. Okay, you've seen the site now.
Okay, yeah, I took a look.
Did you look at traffic? Okay.
Nope.
Monthly, what do you think?
Oh, God.
Total visits monthly.
10,000 uniques.
512,000. 500,000.
Wait. How many uniques? Can you see that?
Yeah, that's what it's looking at. Oh, it does.
What?
And like,
dude, that's
mostly U.S., Australia.
That's bananas.
Man.
Dude, see, everybody, this is where I think we and our audience, like, man, we overthink things. Like, there's so much opportunity that just already exists. And as a designer, you can just improve it. Now, of course, like, looks like they've got a relationship with, like, it's a, yeah, that tiredness is really impacting my vocabulary.
My brain.
But, yeah, it's like a charity as well.
Yeah, but I mean, most of their sites, it's got like all their referring URLs and stuff, and most of it's blogs that talk about toilet paper and stuff like that. Like it's like I'm sure they're doing paid ads and stuff on Facebook and other things like that, but like that to me, that's the easy part. It's figuring out, would people buy that product online versus, no, I don't trust it because I got to get it from the store. And like toilet paper, excuse me.
Yeah,
toilet paper,
totally.
I wouldn't think that people would want to buy toilet paper online, but apparently they have no problem with it.
Well, why wouldn't you?
I don't know, just because I'm used to going to like Costco and getting a bunch of it for $4. You know?
Well, yeah, the $60 thing I really have to be that I'm interested in the charity. Because that's too much.
Well, okay.
It's super expensive.
No, okay, so it's not. It's $60 for 48 rolls. So.
That doesn't sound awful. All right, well, get some. Let me know how it goes.
Why do I gotta test it? But actually, I had this. We don't have to keep going down this rabbit hole, but one of the things like I've been trying to think about with my dad. My dad's 63, and so he's getting really close to retirement, right? And so I've been trying to think of like what business could I start that basically becomes my dad's business that he runs while he's retired. So he's not just like sitting in a chair hanging out not doing anything. He's like still got like things to do because like it's like that's what happens if you just kind of sit around. It's like you're just kind of deteriorating, and I don't want that to happen. On top of that, I think you could make some like decent chunks of money and actually like have a good time and be able to go out and hang out. And so my dad does air conditioning work, and so I've been trying to think of something almost just like this. It's like you change your air filters every month or 3 months or whatever. And I was like, what if you just change the colors of the air filter? You know, I took this really deep. Like, I talked to this lab in Mexico. I don't think.
Oh wait, you told me about this.
Like, because I was like, my dad taught me this trick a long time ago. Because I used to play a lot of sports. I'd have horrible smelling jerseys and like my bags with all my equipment, and like so it's like stink up my room and my house and everything, right? So my dad taught me this trick a long time ago. He's like, look, go get all these dryer sheets, and put them on the intake in your like where it sucks the air in from your house. And so it's sucking in that good smell from like all the dryer sheets. It goes through your air conditioner and it comes out all the vents in the house, and it makes the house smell good. Yeah. And so I was like, so I've always done that since I was a kid. And then I was like, I feel like that's a product, like, and so what people do now, so what people do now is like these little bags of stuff, and you can put them in there, but no one's made like the actual thing that you just have to change all the time. The filter, have it, like in it, like it's just there. It doesn't have to be like dryer sheet material. I feel like that's easier, but like it could just like be essential oil scented,
part of the actual material itself.
And then literally now it's like instead of like the cardboard looking like frame, it's like all flowers on this one, or it's like pineapples on this one because it's a pineapple smell. And like I think that's one of these things. It's like, and like you just make it a subscription box. You don't need to have an inventory of millions of them because you're not like trying to cut. And like he could just do this one local area and have 100 people paying $100 a month or something.
I bet, man, you're right. I mean, because have you ever seen just like the air freshener market? Like people buy this like Febreze and get air fresheners and shit all the time, which I can't stand my stuff. Like my mother will get some that you plug into the wall, and she'll like put it on full blast. And then it'll
last one day.
Oh my god!
And it'll just drain the thing in one day, so that you have to refill
I don't know.
No, that's their whole. They basically give you the plug-in thing for nothing, and they make their money on the refills, right?
And that makes sense.
So that's actually another business idea that I have on the wall that it's been there for a really long time. Me and Era started playing with this. So my daughter, and she was probably like 6 or 7 at the time, refilling them on our own. Right, because my wife has a spa. We've got tons of essential oils and like all this kind of stuff, and that's literally all that's in there is a mixture of water and essential oil, right? And it just has this little stick, and so it slowly goes through the stick, and how fast you want it to go through there. It's simple. So, but what they do is they put these like kind of like Loctite things on them.
Oh, the little plastic.
Yeah, so
basically it's like.
So we spent a lot of time trying to like take those off and see if we get them back on and like fill them back up ourselves, and like we did it. Like we figured out the right tools to get it off and like how to make it go back without breaking on, and that gave me the confidence. I was like, okay, what about like ink, refill companies where it's like you don't keep buying ink, they refill the ink. I was like, this is a thing, right? Like, why don't we make like the Glade plug-in refill company or whatever? Oh, right. You know what I mean? And so it's literally just like, what flavors do you want? We'll send you the refill, or send me your empty cartridges. We send them back, or you know what I mean? Like, dude, you could make so much money doing that. Maybe, I don't know. It's there.
Yeah, I fucking hate air fresheners. Honestly, it's probably because my mom pumps them at full blast. But point being, and going back to your idea, like, yeah, I think there's definitely potential. I think you probably would have to sell them online. Maybe that's a great idea for a subscription model, even though it's like a long subscription model, because you only have to change them like once every 3 months or longer. Well, people usually wait longer, right?
Well, yeah, you're not supposed to. So hold on, that's a whole other thing, right? It's literally like people always wait longer. I'm guilty of it too. but it's literally the air you're breathing. Like, you're like, I'm cool with some shitty, dirty air blowing in my face.
I don't know that people wait, like, because I don't think people wait intentionally.
No.
It's just so out of sight, it's out of mind.
See, that's exactly what I was trying to tell my dad, and thinking about, like, this whole thing was, if it's a membership, if it's like a SaaS company, right? And they don't have to, like, I don't have to think anymore. And I got my time back. You just knock on the door. Hey, I'm here to change your filter. You go in, change the filters for them. Maybe there's 2, maybe there's 3, maybe there's 1. 5 minutes later, you're like, all right, have a great day. You leave. And they're like, that was awesome. I didn't even know they were coming. They were only here for 5 minutes. And, like, it's totally worth the money to pay for
people
this.
Actually replace them for you?
That's what I was telling my dad. That's so like an air conditioning contract.
Gotcha.
The air conditioning contracts,
you
the way they work.
An upcharge?
Yeah, because that's how it works in life right now. Like, if you hire a guy and he shows up, you're going to just pay that guy for like $50, $100, $200, or whatever it is for a service call, right? And that's what they're doing. What I'm talking about doing is a membership automated service call that also provides the filter, and you set it and forget it. And someone just shows up. And there could be that time, too, where it's like, hey, I don't want you in my house. You don't have to, like, change it. I just want the box to show up. And that tells me when to change it myself. And, like, that could be the tier. It's like, you pay $30 less, and you just get the box. You pay $30 more, we actually install it for you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm making shit up.
Well, interesting, because I had never thought about this. And I guess, obviously, everybody's doing everything. But there are multiple air filter subscription services.
Totally.
BobVila.com has the best air filter subscription services of 2022.
So this is a perfect thing for people that want to start making products. Most people do that search. They see that and they go, I can't do it now. And my brain does the complete fucking opposite. I'm like, thank you, Bob Vila. It
means there's a market.
You just validated that there is a market for this. There's enough people. You can go on like SimilarWeb and do all this stuff and see how much traffic they're getting. And then what you do is you own that niche. You own that locale. You own like just your town.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares about making like, the global business? Own your city, right? Own your block of like 100 houses right here. Like you can make a lot of money on very small things like that. It's like, and also it's like just the best test bed to like get your process down and hire somebody to go install it for it. Like get your cousin to go do it and pay him $5, or like whatever. It's like, I don't know. There's like, I love things like that when it's validated.
I think that's an important point. Oh yeah. I think that's an important point. I think whenever you hear about somebody who's like nothing like it exists, and like, well, maybe that's because it shouldn't exist. Maybe it should, but usually, if there's some like, you're not the only person with an interesting idea. Typically, if there's a need in the world, people recognize that. There's going to be a handful of people that go try to do it. And I think it's important to recognize that when you see that there's competition, that means it's validation. Just like you said, it's like, okay, there is a need for this. And then you look at the competition and it gives you ideas about how you can differentiate yourself. And it may also if you get in there and you see it's a saturated market and there's good options, it's going to be potentially hard for you to stand out or whatever. It might be okay at that point to say, maybe not. But when you go and you see there's just a handful of like major players, you're like, well, there's room for one more. And especially if I have like a unique angle, I think, competition is just validation.
To me, like this is, I mean, especially like our audience is a lot of designers and stuff. It's like, this is where you get to shine. It's like, it's your time now, right? It's like when you're going into something like this, it's easy because you're like, man, I wish I could do something a little bit different than them. Well, you're a fucking designer. It's not hard. We're going to design the packaging different. We're going to make this different. Our card's different. Our approach is different. We don't call you on the phone because no one answers the phone. We text you. We don't we send like an email, but it's not all text. It's like cool graphics. It's like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many ways as a designer to like stand out on your own. And especially when you're starting a new business, when there's a saturated market, it's like, oh yeah, I was gonna get this air filter one from Bob Vila, but he's fucking old and his stuff looked ugly. And like you're like, oh, but did you go with like jet craziness rocket ship ninja toilet paper? Their stuff looks awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's almost like a challenge as a designer when you're like, all right, there's a bunch of people doing this, and now I can sit back and go, what's gonna make them think I'm crazy, cool, awesome, and like this is a better product purely from the design aspect. And I know I'm hitting my desk. I hear you typing. Oh. I hear you typing. I knew.
Yeah, we gotta.
I can't. I'm like I talk with my hands, and like my hands are so close to the table, and so I'm just like I can't. I know. I need to like sit back here, and then that way.
No, we need to figure out.
That way I can't hit anything.
We need like a pad for your desk.
There is actually
it's like
2 pads on here, so that's what's awesome. It's like wood pad 1, pillows. Pad 2, and yeah, I need a I'll just sit on a pillow. Anyway, sorry. I heard you typing, and I was like, damn it, Daddy's mad at me. I'm in trouble. But no, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's cool. No, I mean, I love that, and I think there's I think that it would be fun to I think that's a good opportunity for anyone. I mean, obviously it's scary, I think, to spend a lot of money, but I mean, there's all these like companies, there's these sites that you can go to buy companies that already, or products that already exist. And, sometimes they're like tens of thousands of dollars and they're actually making, revenue. And I don't know, I think it's a cool thing to consider, cause I know a lot of the people listening are like, they're entrepreneurs and they want to like try things. I think that's potentially a good entry point. It's something that I think we should experiment at some point. There was one that you looked at. We won't name it in case we end up doing it. But one thing you had looked at that was really shitty, but it was like, positive income. And that'd be like one where we go like, all right, let's.
I feel like I say this like all the time, so I don't have a clue which one you're talking about right now.
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, you do say it all the time. So like, we need to try that. It'll be our case study on just the power of just design.
I guess it was kind of different. But anyway, never mind. But no, I'm with you. I think that, and I don't think we need to go like crazy, like we buy one for like a giant chunk of money. But it's like a good idea, but I struggle with it because I always am thinking to myself, because I'm some cocky asshole, that it's like, okay, well, I could buy that from you for 10 grand, but I feel like I could make it for 10 grand or less while I redesign it with a developer that I find, and like, So it's always a struggle for me because it's like, now I'm paying twice because I got to pay to buy it from you. Then I got to design it. Then I've got to pay a developer to make it better or do whatever it is we're doing. Right.
Yeah.
And that,
well, I think the big thing there is that if it's already making, it's already profitable, then you don't have to go try to build that audience and all that stuff. It's like, it's already got like an audience that's going to help you get back the money that you put into it.
For SaaS and membership type things, I'm 100% with you. For other things, like, cause it's like, it's like I've bought a print company before because it was making money before. And the reason that I bought it wasn't because I couldn't recreate it. It was because of the printer relationships. Well, those were dead and I just didn't know it. And so I had to go get new printer relationships for it. Right. And so it was like, I paid for nothing, kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like, it's just obviously that's me doing my due diligence and, now I learned and I'll do it better next time. But, it's one of those things. I always struggle with that because it's like, I am a 0 to 1. I think I can knock most of this out on the weekend. Because you'll tell me, like, we'll come up with an idea on here, and, like, I'll just stay up that night. And I'm like, well, I got the design done. It's ready. All we got to do is find somebody to make it. Like, as I get excited, it's like that. It's truly my passion, but it's bad because I'm such a goldfish where it's just like every time we do an episode, I have a different idea. Like now I'm just staring at this.
Yeah, you fully design a product like once a week.
Oh yeah, I've got so many. If anybody wants to buy a fully fleshed out design product that just wants to take it over and operate it, I will sell it cheap. Or we could just partner on it.
Well, yeah, there you go. I did my part. Now it's time for you to do your part, partner. Well, dude, we're coming up on about an hour. Anything you want to? Any last ones you want to jump into before we wrap?
No, I don't know. I always wonder about like the audience and if they're like, oh, I'm a designer and I like designing for this company and like I like the work, or if they're like startup people that like want to build businesses and like do their own thing, you know? Because I feel like a lot of this episode was about for that audience. And maybe it inspires people that didn't think they could start their own business. The startup? Yeah, like people that want to start a business.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I used to give a talk. There's this company that did a conference. I don't know. It's like the company name and all. It's called Circles. And a talk I did a long time ago was after starting my first company that I started, 39 Argyle. I just gave the talk of like, you should try to start your own thing. And basically the whole thing was like, you know, quit your job. If you believe in yourself, you can go get another job. And that was like that was what was in my head whenever I was, you know, leaving the first tech company that I was at. And it was a really good like gig, good company, good people. But you know, I was young enough, didn't have kids at the time. And I just thought to myself, like, all right, I've got to like, I've said it long enough. Like we lived pretty drastically different lives. I've always mostly like worked for companies and stayed there for a long time. And so, yeah, so we started 39 Argyle and it was not easy, but it was also like, you know, not impossible. I mean, of course, you know, it's stating the obvious because people have freelance companies and start little companies all the time. But in my head, you know, there was this lack of comfort in making that jump, you know, because then all the work is on you to like make sure you're drumming up clients and all this stuff. But the whole thing, I mean, I'm kind of derailing a little bit because I'm just talking about starting a services company. But like to your point, like there's all these opportunities that are out there, and I think it's like I learned way more running my own company, you know, than I did working as a manager level person at the previous company. Because it's like you have to get into the nitty gritty and start to figure out how everything ties together. And it was super important. And, you know, I think everyone should try that at some point in their career.
I am really curious. Would you ever do that again? Services?
What?
Like start a services company?
Possibly. I don't know.
Because I feel like that's what I have learned from my services company for all those years of like, never again, fuck that. I will never do that ever again in my life. Like it's so hard, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's like you said, it's like even if you had a team, like there's so much customer support and making everyone happy and doing all this kind of stuff and it's different every month or whatever, however long your client has, and then you got another one the next one. It's just this like cycle over and over again. Yeah. Versus building like a product.
You're always hunting.
Yeah. Versus like you build a product and you're just like, how do I grow it? Now I'm going to try sales over here. I'm going to try sales over here. I'm going to try sales over here. Maybe the site design's not working. I'm going to redo that. It's like you get to like grow versus this constant sell the next one and sell.
No, I'm with you. That's one of the aspects of like working at a product company that I always really like. So you've done both too, but I mean, you know, the thing, honestly, in my head, product company sounds like what I would want to do. Obviously, I've done, you know, consulting for the past 10 years, and we've, you know, done a few products during that time, but I've never, taking over the product company and living with that for multiple years was never a part of that. But before that, or before starting my own company, I was on the product side of a technology company where I worked on the app itself, or the, you know, all the applications. And then there was a services side that would then, you know, we had, you know, like these customers like EA Sports and Microsoft and all that. So basically they would use our platform, and the services side had designers that would like reskin it, so to speak, for that client. But what's cool about that is you get to go to sleep thinking, I mean, you know, it's like you're just thinking about your thing. It's like, this is mine. So it doesn't mean like I have to get this done by Friday to ship it to the client. It means, you know, yeah, maybe I've got to get this done by Friday, but I also like, I'm just living with it and I can iterate. I can ship it to the developer and then I can continue to iterate. And yeah, you know, then we can talk about like, is this a worthy, you know, iteration that we need to, you know, build into the app or whatever. That's what's cool about being on a product team is you get a little bit more time to make your own thing better versus like today I have to ship this and it's done. And you'll like potentially never have control again. If it's a client that you're doing something for and you're shipping it and you're not going to do support or they don't want to spend the money on evolving it, that's, you know, that's way better. It's a way better experience as a designer, you know, in terms of like being in a product company.
Totally. I think next episode we should talk about what our dream job would be. Because it's like, that's kind of like what you got me thinking about
teaser
right now. Like, you know, it's like, I know I'm not going to do services anymore, but there is a part of even building a product, like you said, if you get big enough, essentially you will. You'll do some enterprise stuff and people will partner with you, and like that is sales, right? And that is like that rat race that I'm trying to like avoid.
Yeah.
And then there's like, I don't do that. And there's just like, it's total SaaS. It's totally just like a random product and I just charge a membership and like, that's it. And I just try to keep everybody happy, you know? And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. Like cause I feel like I've probably designed the whole office in my head and like how I want everything to look and what I want to work on and how I want it to work. And you know, so it's like, I think that'd be a good episode for us.
All right. A little teaser. Yeah. Well, cool. Then why don't we, let's wrap it.
All right. So tired. You're so tired. You need to go to bed.
Thanks. It's not going to happen. Well, I don't like to do that anyway. If I'm tired, I just try to push through because then if I took a nap, then I might stay up late and throw off my cycle. I don't know. I don't have that down.
Oh, I can't nap.
I like the idea of taking a nap.
I'm with you.
You can't nap either?
Once I'm awake until I'm asleep. There is no in between.
I mean, I like the idea. Like, it sounds awesome.
I mean, apparently, like all the science says that it's so much better for you and your body and your brain and everything else. But I can't. I don't know why. If I was to lay down on that couch right now, I would just sit there and stare at the ceiling because my brain would be like, man, I can't stop thinking about that air filter thing. What should we call it?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want. I could use my dad's name. I could use what, you know. It's like that's what happens when I lay down.
Yeah. Air Buddies. It's an NFT.
There you go. Boom. Done.
All right, man. Well, let's wrap it.
Right.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us as always. As usual, I'm Stephen Ray.
Join us. Join.
Yeah.
Ray Hernandez.
Since I said it at the beginning, I wasn't going to say it at the end. We'll eventually not fuck that part up. But yeah, join us. And by that, subscribe and like on YouTube. And then, on the podcasting apps, I actually went to Spotify and I didn't see the stars. I couldn't find the stars.
There's like a button
so if they're not there,
rate,
sorry.
I think.
Okay. But if you get an opportunity, we would greatly appreciate you going in and giving us a rating. Ideally, like 5 stars. But hey, it's your prerogative. Do whatever you want.
It's my prerogative.
All right, folks. Have a great week.
Later.
Until next time. Deuces.
Peace out.